live. Today is Tuesday. It's the 12th of March 2024, and I have read this whole book already in 2020, but the very last chapter had a not good sound actually, so I decided to read this last chapter again. It's out of The Only Planet of Choice, a fascinating book. And this heading of this last chapter was Briefings, and it started with Phyllis, who was the channel, the trance channel, explaining how it came about. And then it also explains for the people she worked with, Andrei Puharic and Sir John Whitmore, who helped her, a very unlikely trio, but it is all explained in this book. I am now at the last reading of what I read here, background. Dr. Andreja Puharic, a medical doctor and inventor, became highly interested in extrasensory perception in the early 1950s. While studying the subject, he came across the Council of Nine. It wasn't until 1974 that Phyllis Schlemmer, Sir John Whitmore, and Dr. Puharic were brought together by circumstances that Sir John recalls. In November 1973, I met Andreja Puharic in New York to invite him to speak at a conference to be held in London in the spring. He accepted and agreed to use the May lectures to reveal his extraordinary experiences with previously unknown psychic Uri Geller. In January, Phyllis Schlemmer, who ran a psychic development school in Orlando, telephoned Puharic about a remarkable healer she had discovered. Soon afterwards, Phyllis, Andreja, the healer, and I gathered at the Puharic home in upstate New York to investigate his abilities. To everyone's astonishment, the healer began to channel information from an extraterrestrial intelligence. Later, when the healer showed signs of instability, we decided to seek advice from one of Phyllis's spirit guides. The guide told us that he was not a spirit, but the spokesman for the Nine, and that a great adventure began. In the early 1950s, a doctor of medicine, come parapsychological researcher, while studying extrasensory perception, came across the Council of Nine. It wasn't until 1974 that Phyllis Schlemmer, Sir John Whitmore, and the doctor were brought together by circumstances and began their transmissions with the Nine. The story of their first years together, prelude to the landing on planet Earth, I have read that as well, was written by Stuart Holroyd and published by W.H. Allen in 1977. This was published in paperback by Corgi and Doubleday in 1979 under the title Briefings for the Landing on Planet Earth. The transmissions in this book, The Only Planet of Choice, date from 1974 through to the present day, which is 1994. Since those early days, various people have at one time or another been present during the transmissions, serendipity being responsible for most of them being there. This has been voluntary work, sometimes requiring much energy, time, and personal expenditure. First names of the different questioners have been used in this book in order that the reader may see how the different personalities invite different types of interaction and information from the Nine. Some first names have been changed at the request of the individuals concerned, for they already have extremely active lives and wish to be able to continue their work with the Nine without public attention being diverted onto themselves. It has frequently been pointed out by the Nine that in the past, enlightened information has often been corrupted or lost in the propagation process, the emphasis shifting from the teachings to the teachers, who incorporated their own doctrinal modifications. The Nine wish that the information they have transmitted be shared with the people of planet Earth. They do not wish for a cult, religion, or any form of elitism to grow around them or the information. The people who at the time of writing have shared in the process. Hi, Theo! They do not wish for a cult, religion, or any form of elitism to grow around them or the information. The people who, at the time of writing, have shared in the process of channeling have done so with an attitude of service, to support and facilitate the process. Since the members of this group were from various countries, they usually convened at twice or thrice yearly reunions, while smaller sessions involving specific individuals occurred throughout the year. Following a procedure developed over the past 50 years that she has been channeling, Phyllis counts herself down into deep trance. To the observer, it seems as if she is falling asleep on her chair. Then she suddenly becomes animated, raises her head and her hands, and a different voice, Tom's, announces that he is present and offers greetings and blessings. His voice is high-pitched, slow, and the English is somewhat archaic. As explained by Tom, Phyllis' body and mind are taken over by the Nine, and bodily functions are maintained by Althea, the leader of one of the 24 major civilizations. While Tom is transmitting through Phyllis, her hands move about in a series of mudra-like shapes. Channeling through a unique transmitter not only maintains the integrity of the message, it also underlines the enormous amounts of complex preparations and training that are involved in making them. The transmissions usually start with Tom making an important statement. Otherwise, one of the sitters, most often it is Phyllis' husband, Israel Carmel, asks Tom if there is anything that he wants to say before they start on the question and answer process. Tom does not transmit words. He uses the transmitter's brain as a translator, dictionary, and syntax organizer. Tom calls it the servo mechanism. The length of a transmission depends on many factors, and it is always Tom who announces when the channeling must end, whereupon conversations are finished and goodbyes exchanged. Phyllis goes quiet and then counts herself out of the trance. This is sometimes a difficult procedure, and awareness, care, and collectedness are required from all the people present. Phyllis has no knowledge of the transmission when she resurfaces, and in fact, she has not even read most of the transcripts that have been made in order to keep her mind uncluttered. At the end of each transmission, Tom always says, "Tell our being of our love for her. And if nobody tells her, she does not know." Right, so we're coming at the very end here, which is, well, there is an editor's note as well, but what is a good one here is Tom's prayer from the Council of Nine for the nations of Earth. We pray that the nations of Earth come to peace within themselves and come to recognize whence they came. We pray that all the civilizations of the universe that are engaged in their balancing of the universe be given strength and peace within to carry on the work to which they are committed. We pray that the physical beings of the planet Earth come into a state of awareness and understanding in order for their souls to evolve, to raise the level of the planet Earth and to cleanse the heavens around the planet Earth so that the universe can progress. We pray that these beings and civilizations that are opposing what we do come to the light of understanding, so that they also may come into perfect balance. We pray that the day may soon come when all in the universe have the knowledge and the understanding that will make them whole. We pray for understanding among ourselves and for the strength that is needed so that each of us can guide the others to become perfect beings. We pray for the souls of the children of the earth to be brought out of the dark and into the light. Tom. Right, I finished this here. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and I might yet read the very final words, which are rather long and are actually the history. It's the editor's notes I might read that later.